Well, thanks for coming out today, Victor, to do our intermediate blower door test. So anything you can think of right off the bat for preparation?
Well, thanks for having me. And the first couple of things we got to do here is make sure the windows are all locked and closed.
Okay.
I don't see any appliances in the kitchen, so we don't have to worry about any fans that are exhausted to the outside. We do have to worry about our furnace being shut off,
Okay.
our water heater being on pilot, and our attic hatches, make sure they're sealed properly.
Okay.
And anything just venting to the outside, we got to make sure it's sealed properly. That way we can get a good reading on our blower door.
We have a duct in the kitchen where the exhaust fan will eventually go that's still open to the outside, so we'll go ahead and take care of that.
Yeah, we definitely got to seal that up, yeah.
Anything else for prep?
No, it looks like it's going to be intermediate blower door test because we definitely don't have the finished product, like the paint, the trim, the outlet covers,
And the hardware,
floor,
too.
the hardware. So the reading is going to be pretty close though, so to where the finished product might be.
I think you're right. We may find just a couple little things that may help tighten up the envelope for the builder.
Absolutely.
All right, shall we get started?
Sure.
Great.
After making sure that any openings to the outside are sealed properly, our team can set up the blower door for an intermediate blower door test. This test is considered intermediate because it occurs before all of the openings on the inside of the home are completely sealed or covered. The blower door depressurizes the home to exaggerate any air leaks and makes them easier to locate. Then our team can check cracks, outlets, and any interior openings with a smoke pen to see what areas need to be attended to.
So what we're doing now is essentially testing for leakage from the outside around outlet boxes. This is actually really good because it's been sealed. And then here, you know, in a conventional home, this would probably be a lot worse only because they don't necessarily have the 1-inch rigid insulation on the outside that's got the joint sealed and everything else. And sometimes this can also be attributed to what's called series leakage. And so when you've got a conduit and a box connected somewhere else in the house that may be an unconditioned space, there's potential for airflow, and that may actually be what's happening here instead of it necessarily coming from the outside.
The blower door is also utilized while our technician uses a thermal imaging camera to gain two-dimensional thermal pictures of an area that may show air leakage.
On the corners you can tell, but you know, that's just about everywhere. Yeah.
So the next few things I have to do before we close out for today, part of my responsibility as the Green Raider is to make sure that I document what's actually been installed in the home. And so what we'll typically do is we'll take pictures of the tags of the windows so that we can go back to the energy model that we originally did based on plans to make sure that we've got everything correct. Typically when we do a energy model from plans, we might use like default values, but in this instance we definitely want to use what's actually been installed because it can only help the home and the overall score. Well, that actually turned out very well.
I was impressed with the reading that we had for this such big house that we have here.
Yeah, it was like 3,700 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3,700 plus, you know, it fluctuates, but pretty much 3,700.
Yeah, that actually, I ran the numbers and it looks like we're at about 3.5 ACH 50, that's air changes per hour at 50 Pascal, which is really good actually.
And there's room for improvement though. We took our smoke test while the blower door was running, and we found out there was a couple air leakage spots, and there's definitely improvement for this house.
Well, we definitely expected that, and then because the attic hatches are temporary, we know when we put the final product in, that'll take care of some of the leakage we found there, as well as the hardware. Some of the hardware was missing on the exterior doors, so that'll take care of that. And surprisingly, there was leakage around some downlights.
Yeah, hopefully the can lights. Well, the can lights are the biggest air leakage in any home that we go into and check. That's because they're not sealed from above in the attic, or they still don't have a seal on the cover. So hopefully the contractor will have a seal, and that would take care of that problem.
And hopefully when we do our final, we're actually targeting 3,000. That'll put us below 3 ACH 50, which is great because code is 5. And for the International Energy Code, which is the 2012 version, which we're under, It's for the entire nation, it's actually 3. So we'll be performing below the state requirement as well as the national requirement.
That's pretty impressive too.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming out today.
Sure, Lorraine. Thank
All right.
you.
You're welcome.